Randall M. Rueff doesn't do it for the money. He just loves to take pictures. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Randall M. Rueff here. Call signs K9RMR. That's Kilo 9 Romeo Mike Romeo. Again, K9RMR for short. This past weekend was, or past week actually, last Thursday was Thanksgiving 2018, and Mom and I had a nice little dinner here at home. But we had our family celebration in Indianapolis at Greg and Becky Core's house in Indianapolis. And we went to Indianapolis, had a good time, met with the family, spent some time with them. But one of the things I was excited to do up in Indianapolis is take advantage of the 3 D-Star reflectors in Indianapolis. Now, here in Columbus, Indiana, I live in Taylorsville, Indiana, but Columbus, Indiana is real close. We have 2 repeaters, a 2-meter repeater and a 70-centimeter repeater. And the 2-meter repeater does D-Star, but it's not connected to the gateway, which means it doesn't have any internet access. So I was excited to go to Indianapolis, where I know they have 3 reflectors. And the reason I know that is because it's programmed into the radio. This is the Kenwood THD74 Alpha, A for America. There's an E version for Europe. But this is the best handy-talkie on the market right now for ham radio. And trust me, I had to pay for it. But I'm glad I got it. I even did a little extra, got the extended antenna. But I was excited to go to Indianapolis. I mean, aside from seeing my family, of course, to get to use or broadcast or communicate on the 3 reflectors in the Indianapolis area. So the story is, we met Jeff and Evan, which is my mom's cousin and his wife's son. Then we went to Greg and Becky church, and then we drove to Greg and Becky's house. And before Jeff got there, I pulled out the radio, and I thought, well, we got some time. Let's before Jeff gets here, let's see if I can make contact. Nothing. So we ended up going to Greg and Becky's house, and about an hour or so in, after we'd been there about an hour, maybe a little bit more, I was like, well, I'm going to go outside and try my radio. And so I went outside, just get 2 guys rag chewing, very much going on. So I went back inside, and about maybe a half hour later, I went outside for about 20 minutes. It took about 20 minutes. I was outside for about 20 minutes. And during that time, I made my first D-Star QSOs, or contacts. And I was very excited. It was very cool. I heard some guys talking on one of them, on one of the reflectors, and then I switched over to one of the other 2. I kept going back and forth between the 3. And made 4 contacts. So that was kind of neat. Again, I was in Indianapolis. I talked to a guy. I made contact. I mean, I heard several guys talking, so I heard more people talking. But I actually made contact with 4 people. One was from Indianapolis. One was from Kokomo. One was from New Jersey, which is pretty far away. And another one was somewhere in Texas. So I made those 4 contacts, which is pretty cool, considering this will go about, give or take, 20 miles analog and maybe 30 miles digital voice without a reflector or repeater. Again, depending on the weather and the topography and things like that. I mean, there are variations, of course. So it could go less than 20, more than 20, depending for analog, and again, 30 or so. Again, depending on topography and time of day and atmosphere, a whole bunch of other factors. But give or take 20 and 30 miles for this QRP radio, which QRP means 5 amps or less. So I was excited to be able to get on those reflectors and talk to somebody, one person in Indianapolis, one person in Kokomo, Indiana, one person in New Jersey, which is on the other side of the country, and another person in Texas, which again, other side of the country. So that was kind of neat. So let me tell you what I learned as far as working on D-Star. Didn't learn a whole lot, but I did learn a few things. The first thing is I had programmed my radio with my. There's a thing where you can program your call sign, and then it has a slash, and then you can put up to 4 letters. So I put my call sign K9RMR slash 1973, which is the year I was born. So I got on there, and there were, the first guy I talked to was like in Indianapolis was like he called everybody boss. He's like, "Hey boss, what's going on, boss?" It was kind of funny. He says, "What's with the 1973?" And I said, "Well, that was the year I was born." I said, "Well, first of all, I said I'm new to D-Star. This is the first time I've made a D-Star contact. You're the first person I've talked to in D-Star." But I put my call sign, and I put the year I was born. He's like, "Well, you're not supposed to put the year you're born. You're supposed to put what they recommend putting is the fact." Because he didn't understand what the 1973 was about. I said, "Well, that's the year I was born." He said, "But what you're supposed to do is put the radio you're using. For example, I got the THD-74. THD-74 from Kenwood. Again, nice radio." So he says, "What you're supposed to do is put your rig, what you're using. You know, for either an ICOM, blah, 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 or a Kenwood, or a Yaesu. You're supposed to use those 4 letters after the slash to put your rig so people know what you're using." So that was the first thing. He says, "Now that I understand," he says, "that's nice, but what you're supposed to do is put what you're using so people know what kind of radio you have." So I was like, okay, so I changed it. It took a little bit of time, but it wasn't too bad. It was really relatively easy to change. So that was one lesson learned. I didn't know. When I talked to Joe K9OPL here in Columbus, he said you could put in your radio, you could put whatever. He didn't say anything specific, but now that I'm on it, talk to somebody, they were like, "You need to put your radio." So that's what I did. No big deal. Lesson learned. So that was cool. I didn't realize. I knew hitting the reflector, I would get people. I could. How do I want to say it? I could go to other areas, but I had no idea that, like, say, people from Texas and New Jersey would be listening to what I'm saying. So that was cool. The fact that I in Indianapolis could talk to people in New Jersey, in Texas, was, to me, is really cool. Now, granted, they're using the internet. The reflectors are using the internet, so it's not true ham radio. It's ham radio, but it's not true ham radio because it's utilizing the internet. So, but one of the things I like about this radio is the fact that it does have digital and video and digital. It has analog and digital. So if the internet goes down, the grid goes down, I've still got a radio that I can communicate with other people. Now, granted, if the internet goes down, I'm not going to have access to D-Star, but I still have access to analog, which, again, give or take 20 miles, depending on your topography and the weather and the time of day and atmospheric, the whole propagation thing. But, so that was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting to talk to people that far away without going in. Because you can go into D-Star, you can go in and you can say, "I want to connect to a certain reflector, in Japan or China or Australia or wherever." So I was expecting just Indianapolis people, or people in the surrounding areas to be. So the fact that I got, like I said, Texas, I talked to one guy in Texas and one guy in New Jersey, kind of exciting to some degree. So I learned that. That was something I wasn't really expecting. So it was kind of cool. Again, I made 2 videos. The first QSO on D-Star, and then the other QSOs that I made on D-Star were in a second. They're on YouTube. You can see them. But it was kind of neat to be able to take this and talk to somebody in New Jersey and Texas, as well as Kokomo, Indiana, and Indianapolis. So it was a good time. It was a learning experience. I'm glad I did it. The radio is definitely worth the price, what you pay for. Again, it's a little pricey, but you're getting what you pay for. And there's still a lot of things I have to learn. I really haven't got into APRS yet. I haven't really super got into the D-Star yet. There's a lot of things you can do with D-Star. I'm scratching the surface, and but that first scratch of the surface, as you will, was pretty cool. So I wish we had some reflectors here in Columbus, Indiana, or Bartholomew County, but we don't right now. We have repeaters, but not reflectors. And the difference between reflectors and repeaters is repeaters simply send out the signal. They use a big antenna, send out the signal farther. Screensaver just kicked on. Hold on. Oops, wrong one. Hold on. Okay. My screensaver on the computer just kicked on. I couldn't see what it was doing. But the difference between a repeater is you broadcast to the repeater, it sends the signal out locally. It sends it farther than you could send it by just having a radio. Whereas a reflector sends it to the internet. The internet sends it out to lots of places. So a lot of people can hear it. So, again, a learning experience. Learned something new. And I just thought I would share this little thing with you because it's worth sharing. At least I think so. I hope so. Hope you've enjoyed it, learned something from it, and until next time, I'm Randall M, K9RMR, saying good day, God bless, 73. Maybe I'll talk to you on the air.